right, here we are, TBCN Unplugged. My special guest today is Mr. Rock Riley. You're a sports, what would you call yourself, a reporter or?
Oh, a BSer.
Yeah, okay.
Reporter, a host, podcast host, a show host, mostly out in the field as of late. A guest, contributor.
Yeah.
Writer,
influencer.
No, there was an influencer, a YouTuber, the richest YouTuber in the world at the Bucks game, Mr. Beast.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, Mr. Beast. And even the general manager of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which is the NFL team, said, oh, you got to interview Mr. Beast. Who's Mr. Beast? You don't know Mr. Beast? He has got 300 million subscribers.
300 million?
He makes, he's 25 years old. He roughly makes 500 million a year. It's half a bill. And he's 25 years old. No, those are influencers. I am far from an influencer.
Okay.
And we got to figure out what they're doing, how he's doing it. But it was just incredible.
How do you become an influencer?
There you
That's
go.
the thing.
How do you become an influencer?
All right, so I've known you, I want to say it's been over 20 years.
Oh my God, is it that long?
It's been that long, yeah. I don't know if you want to talk about your past so much.
Oh, of course, anytime. It's all over. Anything is fair game.
So you grew up we're both Jersey boys, right? Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a town called Dover, near Morristown, if you've ever heard of that.
Yeah.
And I played sports, football, baseball, and basketball, so I was playing all the time.
Okay.
And growing up in the New Jersey area, you can hear New York radio stations, 77 WABC.
Yeah.
I would watch, at the time, the 6 and 11 o'clock sportscast on the news stations, NBC, Channel 4, Channel 2, CBS, WPIX, and Independent, Channel 11, you know these things. And it used to be, I watched Warner Wolf. Let's go to the videotape. Or Marv Albert, who at
starts
the time,
from downtown, swish.
There you go. And I was like, that is kind of cool. Now, this day and age, that is done.
Yeah.
There's nobody waiting around till the 11 o'clock news for a minute of newscast, sports.
Yeah.
But at that time, that's when I was always like, that looks kind of cool. I would like to do that.
Okay.
And of course, you go through college and and I learned how to party. Basically, that's what happened.
You went to Bill on the Hill.
I first at St. Leo College for 2 years in Florida, here in Pasco County, Dade City, Division II. I walked on, played on the baseball team.
Okay.
And like I said, I ended up just my first 2 years. You're no longer with the constraints at home. You have freedom. Look out. So I just ended up
I want to say
partying.
some people on staff went to St. Leo.
Really?
Yeah.
Life is grand in Leo land. They actually, back in the day, had a lion on campus in a cage. Yes. And there was a couple of times where some of the kids cut that lock and let that lion loose, and you would hear, roar, like late at night. You would never be able to get away with that now.
Right.
So then, but after 2 years, I was realizing, all right, I'm majoring in PE. I'm majoring in party. I came to the realization, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
Let me go back. And I was actually homesick from New Jersey, believe it or not. My wife gets a big kick out of that.
Yeah.
And so I went back. I transferred to William Patterson College, which is William Patterson University now. Yeah. And it was a commuter school. I drove really far. I got a job in a factory at night, driving a forklift 40 hours a week, and just driving down, went to my classes, drove all the way back, over an hour and something, up Mount Olive, New Jersey, and I was playing on the baseball team. I actually walked on and was on the William Patterson baseball team.
Okay.
So, did that, didn't intern, didn't get involved at all. I know that's really, honestly, that is the way to go in your
nowadays,
career.
yeah.
But I didn't, and because I had a lot of fun up there. I'm on a baseball team, I do this and that, I'm driving, I'm making money up there, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And so, once I got out, I had to work for free in local cable. And there was a news show, political corrections. I did that. I did a couple of high school games.
Was it like public access or local origination?
It was local origination. And, they did some high school games. So once I put the headphones on doing it, I'm like, oh, this is fun. So I worked for free. And then I got my first radio job full-time at WSUS FM 102.3, Sussex County, New Jersey.
I thought it was going to be WDHA.
That's still to this day. That's a bucket list for me.
Yeah.
WDHA. It used to be the Rock of North Jersey.
Yeah.
And then
they're
Rock of New Jersey.
They're in Dover.
They are in Dover.
Yes.
Actually now Cedar Knolls, very close. That's where their license is. It's funny you say that.
Yeah.
Because after all those years, I cover the Tampa Bay Buccaneers these days. They played against the New York Jets in a preseason game, and they had 2 days in New Jersey. They stayed in Morris, the Marriott, right off of Route 10 in Hanover, New Jersey. And so I stayed in that hotel with the team. Mm-hmm. I was there with the team for 3 days, and it was so wild because I've been at that hotel back in the day for different events, and I'm like, I'm here with the Bucs.
Yeah.
And then WDHA, which is a classic rock station, they still are very, very strong. They were right down the street. And I had my rental car. I drove down. I'm like, oh my God, I would love to go in there. I would love to be on the air there. But, I was busy with doing stuff that I did, and I didn't want to bother them.
Yeah.
But I was like, to this day, of all the places I've been, national, that would still be just one day to go on. You never know. So anyway, I work at WSUS for 5 years up there. That's a long time.
Oh, that is a long
time. And then they started doing a little bit of cable, TV, sports. And then I got my first job way up north, Plattsburgh, New York / Burlington, Vermont, an NBC affiliate, WPTZ.
Okay.
Weekend sports anchor, weekday reporter. And at the time, I had just gotten married. My wife, she had breast cancer. And so she was a teacher. She was going to meet me and live up there. We're going to start our career. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't. I only stayed for maybe 5 months, and I had to come back to New Jersey. And I was doing line painting, and I thought I'd never get back in the business because she was sickly, and so I had to come back. But I do remember when I got up there to my first TV gig, I was like, I know I'm pretty good at this. I can do this. I could ad-lib a little bit. They would give you 3 minutes. And what happens is, in local television, to not get too technical, sports is always at the end. And so if you have a live half-hour show, they'll either be heavy, meaning they're running late, or they're light, meaning they have enough time. You can have them a little bit more time to kill. And they always take from sports. So even though when you first start out, they'll be like, okay, you got 4 minutes today. Okay, so you plan out how much highlights you're going to do here. Maybe you got a story here of 1:10. Maybe you this and that, and a little crosstalk with the anchor. And then it'd be like, we're down to 3:20. Oh, I got to cut 2 or 3 things. And when you've never done that at the first time, but I was able to ad-lib. They used to actually have a clock underneath, a digital clock that would be running. And I could tell time-wise, I don't have time for this. So my point was, even though I was inexperienced, I was pretty good at that. And so I figured this is what I want to do. So that was my original. Some people want to do play-by-play. No, that's not my thing. Games. I want to do highlights. I want to host.
I was going to ask you. Yeah. Like, have you ever done play-by-play?
I have, and
it's not easy.
No, and it's
not
different.
For everybody.
It's different.
Yeah.
Like I worked at Bay News 9 / Bright House Sports Network, and we were doing high school games, and they had me do a basketball game or two. And it's like, you got to do a lot of preparation for all the players and this and that. But doing play-by-play, it's like, it was really fast, and I'm trying to get the numbers down, and okay, here the basket, and there's no time for BSing, story time. That's for the color guy.
Yeah.
There's only a short amount of time. Some love it. They that's what they want to do. I know guys right now that are doing talk show that they want to do play-by-play. That's all they wanted to do. No, it's not my thing. You guys are good at what you do there. No, I like telling stories. I like going in clubhouses. I like seeing what's happening. I like hosting. I like contributing.
Podcasting.
Yeah. But play-by-play, God love you guys. And
Yeah.
ladies, the ones that do it, they're good at what they do. It's a different thing.
Absolutely, yeah. It's the same thing in video. Like, I worked in news for a very short time. As you know, that's where we met.
Yep.
And I realized very quickly that news was not for me.
Really, you
know?
did?
Yeah.
What was it that just the whole thing?
The whole, here's 20 stories to edit. You've got 45 minutes. It's like, whoa, what do you mean? Look at this cue, And it's like, back then, before nonlinear editing, you had it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I actually don't mind that. I function better with time constraints, live. I did a live TV show on Bay News 9 for 14 years, even though I was there 18 years. 14 years, and you got to be at your best at 11 o'clock at night.
Sports Connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been out all day. You take care of family members. I have a son, but he was living in Newport Richey, which is Pasco County. I was living down in St. Pete. That's where the station was, in Pinellas Park, New Jersey. I picked him up every single day. I've been driving my entire life far all the time. And at least I can see him. And then I would go cover the Bucks or go in the locker room and get stuff for the night and this and then this and that. I finally would get to work at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I would be like, okay.
Right.
Then you got to put together a half-hour show, and then at 11 o'clock at night, when most people are tired, you're ready to go to bed or you're chilling out. That's when you got to look your best and you got to be your sharpest after you've had a whole day.
Right.
So I'm used to that still. I'm still somewhat of a night owl because I've been used to being at my best after you've had a whole day.
But at least you knew you were getting a whole half hour.
Boom. Most
Yeah.
people get so little
Yeah.
time. And I've had guys over the years come over to me, they go, I was so jealous that you had a whole half-hour show.
Yeah.
Where I can only put in a sound bite of maybe 12 seconds.
And you had some pretty good guests
And
back
guess,
in the day. Yeah.
we had...
Players, coaches.
We had a limo service, and that was the biggest key. I've always told people, when you try to get pro athletes to come to your studio, good luck.
Yeah.
Because when they're at the highest level, NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA, everybody wants something from them. They know they got money, they got ideas. They want them to, hey man, I got this idea, but I need it. How about investing in this? So they're constantly, people want to be around the pro athlete. They're always getting all this. So for you to ask, hey, can you come on my show? Okay, I'll give you the address. Can you also drive to my studio?
Right.
That ain't happening.
It's so much easier now with technology to get people on the phone.
Boom,
Yeah.
boom. But if you want them in studio, so I had a limo service. And the thing is it was 2 hours a night. That's how much.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be, what's your address? We'll have the limo pick you up. Oh, you have a limo pick me up? Oh, okay. I can chill out. It'll get you right to the door. As soon as you come in, too, we're ready to roll. We're ready to tape. You don't have to sit there. You don't have to talk to other people because everybody's always wanting something. Maybe a pick, you come right in. We do it. 15 minutes. Boom. You're in the limo. Gone. But I'll tell you a little good story because this is a podcast. I won't name any names.
I was going to say not to name drop, but...
Well, no, I'm not even going to name on this because it's a good story.
Yeah.
So, over the 14 years that I did that, there's only been a handful of times where one of the guests has abused that and taken that limo out.
Oh, no.
Out. What? Out. And the next day, I come into work. The boss, named Elliot Weiser, brings me in. What the heck is this? We got a bill till 6 a.m. 6 a.m.? I'd have to call. And it's like, we're not paying this. You better call them and tell them they're paying this. So now this is on me. And I'm going to be covering this team and this player, and I'm going to be seeing them. Now I'm going to hit you with a bill? Didn't you? So I would always have to tell after that a couple of times, like, listen, we only cover you for the 2 hours, an hour to get you there, hour to get you back, wherever you're at, If you want to go out, You check with the driver, see if they got that limo available, but then that's on you. Is that cool? I had to do that a couple of times. And the one time that it happened, this guy, a player, went out. They went out to this club. They went out to this club. They went out to an after-hours club in Tampa. And then I have to call him and say, he left his phone at the station in Pinellas Park. So he's got to come back to get his phone.
Aha.
Talk about a walk of shame.
Right.
And a big bill.
Yeah.
Thinking that it was free. So sometimes, there's pros and cons. But again, it only happened a few times. Another time, there was a former Rays pitcher, young guy, and I give him the address, the limo company. I set it all up. I did it every day. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. We'll pick you up here at 9:45, whatever. Boom, boom. Boom, boom, comes in with his girlfriend. Now he's young. It was a righty. I don't want to give away his name. He was about 25 years old, 26 years, young guy. He's been dating her for not too long. Very attractive, very cool. He comes in. She's like, so he didn't say anything to me. I said, hey, how you doing, man? Good, good, good. Oh, you got a bathroom? Yeah. The bathroom's over there. Okay. And the studio, we're right back here. We're ready to tape. Okay. For years it was actually live. But anyway, she comes over and she's like, can I, you know what? I want to call my mother. I'm like, sure. I'm so flustered. He just proposed to me in the limo. He proposed to you in the limo on the way to Pinellas Park out in the parking lot? On 66th Street? You're kidding me. Oh, congratulations. I'm the first one congratulating her. She calls her mother right in the back, right behind the set. We're getting married. He just proposed to me. How'd he do it? Oh, he's in the limo. The limo where? I'm at a local TV station. Meanwhile, he comes out and said, how you doing? Congratulations, dude. Oh, thanks, man. Boom. And then we just taped the segment, and then they were on their way back off.
Wow.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
That's cool. In Tampa Bay sports, what was the best interview, most memorable interview?
Okay. Yeah. I can give you a couple. Dwight Gooden, I always really liked the doc, Dwight Gooden. He is, and I've noticed this over my years of covering a player that maybe that does have like an addiction problem, whether it's coke, whether it's booze, whatever it is. 9 times out of 10, they are like usually the nicest person. Right. It isn't like they're a bad person. They have that addiction, those demons. Dwight Gooden was one of them. And I remember he came in and he sat on our studio. I may have talked to him a time or two before. Very soft-spoken, very nice young man. And we would have a good 15-minute interview, so you could get into something. It wasn't like a quick,
Was it live?
For years it was live,
yeah.
And then we started realizing, well, you can tape it.
Yeah.
Why do you have to? The audience doesn't know the difference.
Right.
But a lot of years it was live. And so I asked him about his father, because his father was his rock out of Tampa, Hillsborough High School. Like his father was always there. Father going to Little League games. Father was his big thing. And I remember it was when he had an unbelievable game and his father was in a hospital in Tampa. And he was with, I believe it was with the Mets. I knew he threw the no-no with the Yankees. Maybe it was then. But all I know is here we are. We're live doing TV. We're talking just like this. And he starts, here comes the tears.
Oh.
And here comes crying. And my method is, don't start interrupting. Some hosts feel the need. They always got to interject.
Yeah.
Just let them go. This is an emotional time. Just let him go. And I just let him go until he controlled himself sobbing, and on and on. I was like, wow, for him to have that emotion come up, and that means he was engaged.
And you brought that out in him.
And
yeah.
and that's actually happened a couple of different times where somebody has come on and has actually cried, whatever it was that made them. And just such a good guy. And that means a lot. Another one was Jose Canseco.
Oh.
You know Jose Canseco. Yeah. Remember that name. He was the one that wrote the book on steroid use. And actually, if Jose Canseco never wrote that book, I don't know if they would have the stringent testing that they would do because he named names.
He did. Yeah.
And so at the time, I covered Jose. I liked Jose. Jose liked me. So we move ahead a couple years. Jose is living down in South Florida. Jose liked me and my producer, Chris Elias. So we contacted him. We heard that Jose was going to be writing a book. He was going to blow the door on the stair right there. We contacted Jose through his home. Yeah, you guys can come down. You guys can come down and sit down here. Come down to the house. He was living in South Florida. Okay. Jose was divorced at the time. He had a daughter, same age as my son. My son's now 25. At the time, they were younger, you know. Josie was her name. Mm-hmm. Beautiful girl. The mother, absolutely gorgeous. She looks just like the mom. Now she's doing so well, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, we'll come down. We get the approval from our boss, Elliot Roger. We can go down. We can stay one night. And in that way, because it's a long trip down there. You want to be there in the morning. Jose's handler starts, hey, you going to pay us money? No. This is how Jose was doing everything. Yeah. No, man. You know us. No, tell the Jose, it's me, it's Rock. No. We're not doing that. Okay. Call back. Jose said, no, that's cool. We get down there. We stay overnight. Hotel nearby. Next morning, we call. Hey, we're confirming. We're doing the sit-down interview with Jose. Long thing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Hey, you going to pay us money? No, we told you we're not paying you any money. No.
No dinero.
Come on, man. Come on. All right. It was so interesting. We show up. Jose is built like a brick, you know what.
Yeah.
He's got his tank top on. He's got a gym in his garage where he lifts his weights. He had a website at the time. X amount of dollars. You want to spend the day with Jose at his house. You want to do 4 hours, 2 hours, whatever it was, 8 hours. Okay, so we knew all this, okay? We go in. Now, this is before he had this book and before this. I think he was hurting for money. He had a divorce.
Sounds like
this,
it.
He had this and that. We go in, decent house. Nothing totally extravagant, but nice. Jose greets us. Where do you want to set up? Living room? It's always like when you go on TV. Where do you want to set up? You want to set up over here? Or we got a spot over here? We're looking at it. You check out the lighting. No, this looks real good right here on the living room. Okay. How long you take? Not long. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Okay, great. Chris and I start setting up. We look at the dining room table. He has got spikes. He's got his 30 home runs, 30. He's got his this trophy. He's got this. All of this memorabilia, he was selling everything.
Oh no! I was wondering, why is it on the table?
Everything on the dining room table. You want to make a bid? Boom. So I was just like, you kind of, you always, when you go and being in this, you go to a state, you assess the situation. You see what's going on. All right, he's selling everything. Okay, how long is this interview going to take? Half hour, Jose? Half hour? Okay. We got somebody that's got a bid that's going to be spending the day with Jose coming here in a little bit. Okay, no problem. No problem.
An actual paying customer.
Oh, yeah. We sit down. He couldn't have been more gracious, and he told me, he goes, I am going to blow the door off of Major League Baseball. I'm telling you. I said, Jose, you're going to get black. They're not going to like you. He goes, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I said, okay.
He's already probably not going to be in the Hall of Fame at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
So he did this, that. Boy, he was right on. So he gave us a little bit, blah, 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 blah. We finish. We start wrapping up a little bit. Ding dong. It's a kid from Pennsylvania and his girlfriend. His mother drove him to the house. The kid wasn't old enough. It wasn't like he was a kid. I would say he was probably 15, 16. The mother was waiting outside. Okay. We came to the door. We greeted the kid too. Hello, how are you? Blah, 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 our names. Maroc. You're from Pennsylvania? My brother, where are you from? Oh, great. Okay. The mother was there. We waved goodbye to the mother. She said, I'll be back in whatever, 2 hours, 4 hours. Okay. Boom. I said, what you got planned here today? Okay. Jose's going to do a cookout out by the pool. You go swimming with Jose. And then you're going to be watching some of his videotapes of his home runs. Oh, great. The kid couldn't have been happier.
Wow, I wonder how much he paid for that.
It was quite a bit.
Yeah.
It was. I think it might have been somewhere around $1,500, $2,000, something like that for the day.
That's a good.
And the kid is a huge Jose Canseco fan. He's happy. And Jose was going to do hot dogs and hamburgers on the grill. You're going to eat with Jose in his pool. How about that? So this was more memorable. Memorable. I remember we had an old set we had at Bright House Sports Network. We were going to be getting a new set in a beautiful new building over in Carolina, a section of St. Pete. And so the boss decided to do like a Wayne's World set. Were you there for that? It was old chair we got at a Goodwill, old wood paneling that you would see. Honestly, he wanted to do a thing that would be like a Wayne's World. And then when we're ready to move into the new set, we had on 2 former WWE wrestlers, Brian Nasty Boy Knobs and his Sags from the Nasty Boys.
Yeah.
And they're going to come in and obliterate the set live for a whole show. I wish I know that video is somewhere out there. It's incredible. He brought in a chainsaw.
We got to get a hold of that.
They're former WWE guys, so
we need
they're
this
wild.
B-roll.
They're really wild.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially when you start with a few pops. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you know Brian Knobs at all.
Yeah.
Probably seen him around. Mm-hmm. But he's a friend of mine. Yeah. But the point was, for a good 6 months, we had this crappy set. So we had Mike Ditka, the former Chicago Bears head coach. He was in Tampa doing something. We had him come in. I remember he walked in. Now, Ditka's been around. He's probably been on a ton of TV sets.
Yeah.
He looked at that thing and he stopped and he went, here's how good of a guy he is, though. He went, that's interesting. How's this going to go? So he was cool as heck.
Yeah.
Oh, he was great. Great. I'll tell you.
Now you're making me want to build a Wayne's World set.
You do what you got to do,
Right.
man. You know, entertainment is key. Content is key, as you well know.
Yeah.
Got another good story for you we still have time here in stories?
We have all the time you need.
Okay. Mike Ditka. We go backwards. I was working as a national TV sports reporter. I was about 30 years old. Okay, I had got my foot experience. I'm living in North Jersey. It was called FNN, which was Financial News Network. And then on weekends, it was FNN Sports. FNN Score, FNN Sports. So I was at a Mike Tyson fight in Atlantic City. I used to cover boxing back in the day at New Jersey Network.
Is this the 80s?
Yeah, late 80s.
Late 80s, like 89.
Trump Plaza.
Yep.
Trump comes on set. I'll never forget it. He was like, when's this going to be on? When's this going to be on? I'm like, boy, this guy really wants to know when he's going to be on. But whatever. Yeah. This is back in the day. So I was sitting next to a guy that was on this new FNN Sports, and then they were Financial News Network. His name was Hugh Millay. I got along with him pretty good that day. Sometimes you never know who you're going to run into. It's all about who you know. That's how the business works. So I kind of liked this guy, and I was hung out with him for that day a little bit. And I said, hey man, I see you got a national network. If you ever expand, let me know. Boom. I don't know, 6 months later, 8 months later, I get a call from Hugh. He goes, hey man, we're interested in having a national sports reporter. You interested? And I said, yeah. I was working at New Jersey Network, NJN it was called.
Okay.
So I was a sports reporter and a producer and did a little bit of fill-in anchoring and this and that. And so he goes, I tell you what, man, USC is playing in the Meadowlands. I forget who they were playing. And he goes, if you could send us a package. A package is something that you put together. It's a little story at about 2 minutes max. I said, you got it. So I get the credential from New Jersey Network. I go to the Meadowlands with my camera guy, videographer. Nowadays, you might be doing what they call a one-man band by yourself. Yeah. But in the day, we always had a video shooter. So I go there, boom. We do the game. He gets a little bit of the game. It's time to do post. I'm going to do a stand-up where you stand on the sidelines in front of the camera and record a little, either the out or what they call a bridge, a middle part. And I do it. Meanwhile, I have a New Jersey Network mic flag, which is on my phone. I unplug it. I do it, and the photographer, the videographer, he goes, what the hell are you doing, man? Are you getting paid by somebody doing it? I said, no. This is just like a little thing. He goes, man, you're taking a mic flight. That means you're sending this out somewhere. You get some money. You're giving me some money, right? No, man, dude, I'm just doing this. I'm like, well, I can't do an outro FNN Sports because he'll know. I'll do a middle bridge into something like Notre Dame. Oh, it was Notre Dame USC. And blah, blah, blah. They had this quarterback, Todd Marinovich, blah, blah, blah. So bottom line, I do it. I send it. Boom. Ooh, they like it. Oh, they use it. Boom. I did one more. Boom. Next thing you know, hey, man, it's a freelance gig. It's not full-time. It's this amount of money. How you want to do it? We'll need like 4 packages, 4 stories a week. In. You got a camera guy? I got a camera guy. I knew a guy that was out of the Jersey Shore.
Okay.
He had his own camera. He only worked in local cable. And it'll only be like 2 hours. So basically, he was my guy. We started doing stories. We would either go to the Meadowlands. We would go to the Madison Square Garden. We would go to Mets. At the time, it was Shea Stadium. I know I'm dating now at Citi Field. Or Yankee, this and that. And it was always pregame. And I got to be really fast. I could do 4 stories. Basically, these stories are only a minute 25. Mm-hmm. I would interview somebody, like a player. I get 2 sound bites from him. Maybe get a manager. Boom. Do a little stand-up. Boom. That's one done. Sure. Boom. And you only get the camera guy for the 2 hours pregame. He's not paid to sit around for all.
True.
You can't I didn't get it now. Let's try to get him after the game.
Yeah, no.
So I was I was like 28, 29 years old. But I knew that's how I learned to get stuff fast. There's no waiting around. You can't worry. Get a little B-roll. Bam, boom, get this.
You ever interview Lenny Dykstra?
Yes.
Okay. That's all you're going to say, yes. He's a piece of work.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Maybe he was, I don't know what. I'm doing Phillies. If I go up to an athlete and it's pregame, they don't have much time, I'll just say, hey, I'm with it. Boom, boom, FNN Sports, 2 questions. I stick to my 2 questions.
Yeah.
I don't follow up or this and that. So I go up to, I see Lenny, he comes out. He had this big wad of chew. It was, his cheek was out to here.
You're lucky that's all he had.
And I said, Lenny, blah, blah, blah. 2 questions. He goes, no. I said, okay. He goes, I'm working now. And back at that time, a lot of baseball players would give me that. I don't hear that anymore. I'm working now. I said, oh, okay. I'm standing there. He proceeds to take 1 step, sits down. It was spring training, so it's nice, March, beautiful sun, 78 degrees. Takes off his hat, sits like cross-legged, goes back like he's catching some rays with a chew right in front of me when he said, I'm working now. I said, you son of a gun. How about later? No. And that was it. That was my Lenny Dykstra. Oh. I would like to run into him now. And maybe sometimes you have a bad instance, but you know, what are you going to do? Yeah. But that taught me to get stuff done quick. The motto is, and we all know this being in the business, try not to go through the PR person.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're going to give you, no, not now. No. Oh, they're protecting their people.
Right, because it's their job.
Yeah, but if you can get it quick on the side, boom. Now, it's different if you're in a one market and you're going to see that PR person all the time. You don't want to get on their bad side. Right. But here, I'm a national guy. I just came in, boom. And there was enough being in New York where every Sunday, I'm at the Meadowlands, Jets, Giants. There's always Rangers or Knicks at the Garden. At the Meadowlands, at that time, there was the Nets and Devils. There was Yankees, there was Mets, there was the Islanders. So I would get the opposing teams that would come in because I'm a national network. I didn't have a beat. And that way I was always able to get 2, 3, 4, this and that. So I really liked that. I was on my way. The guy flew in from LA and said, we're going to make you full time. We even want you to come to LA and we'll take care of your accommodations and do a couple of weekends and anchor with the newswheel. And I was like, yes.
Yes. You made it. But
However, At the time, this is even before I see in USA Today, the CEO of FNN is being charged with embezzling a lot of money, and he is the CEO of FNN. And I'm like, oh boy. I get a call from our producer in LA. He goes, did you see the news? I saw it. He said, we're blanked. That means this is probably going to be sold. I mean, he's going down. Sure enough, CNBC bought out FNN, dropped sports programming, and they are today what they are. So we only had maybe 2 months, 3 months. Everybody's like, we're going to lose our... and then the word
you
came
knew
in.
It was coming.
Yeah, and then we heard they're probably not going to keep sports programming. So I would start applying to local places. And I'm young, and I'm saying all the time, I wasn't married in between. And I'm like, I'm willing to go to like Pensacola, Florida. And they look at my thing, and they'd see my tape, and like, you're way overqualified, man. You're going to cover like, high school. No. I'm willing to do it. No. And it was really, really hard at that time. So sometimes you can't plan out your career. You know what I mean?
How has your career changed since then?
So at the time, I moved to Denver and I tried to get in. I had been with an ex. She gets a job with the Colorado Rockies. Assistant to the general manager. You got to be kidding me. She was in. This is my. So I remarried after 5 years, and we just said let's go to Colorado. We didn't have any kids, didn't have any ties, and I'm like, you tired of New Jersey? Yeah. You ready? Let's go. We were on our way. We were on our way to California. We stopped in Denver. We rented a car. We started driving down that interstate. Got down by the foothills. Went down in Littleton, Colorado.
Okay.
Boom. You liking this? I'm liking this. You getting a vibe? I'm getting a vibe. You want to move here? Why don't we move here?
Sometimes that's all it takes.
Boom.
Yeah.
And, most people, if you get a family or your kids, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So we ended up doing that. I stayed for an extra year. The marriage was not going good. It just wasn't kind of like da-da-da-da. And so she moved to Florida, believe it or not. She had a mom and dad here. I'm like, I'm never moving back east. I like the mountains. I like no humidity. I like football games on at this time change. I like everything. I was on a baseball team. I had met friends. It's so different between a guy.
I miss football games at 10 in the morning. I really do.
Did you live out west?
I lived in San Diego, yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
That must be neat.
Yeah.
Monday night is not so late.
Monday night is happy hour, yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah. I stayed in a whole extra year. I'm like, I'm not leaving. And there was a job at Fox 13 in Tampa Bay for a sports guy. This gentleman, Chip Carter, used to be the sports anchor. So I call him up, and he's like, oh, we just filled it. He goes, but there's a job in radio. It's this station called 970 WFLA. It's an AM news, and there's this guy, Ted Webb, and they're looking for a sports guy. And I'm like, I started out in radio. I've been doing TV now, blah, blah, blah. You know what, though? I went to St. Leo. Tampa's not bad. Let me see. I was like, you know what, man? Boom. So I flew on my own dollar to Tampa. I stayed in a little hotel off of I-4, real inexpensive. I went to the Tampa Library in downtown, and I got the Tampa Bay Times and this Tampa Bay, it was St. Pete Times and Tampa Tribune. I got all their editions, and I did all my homework, and I studied the Tampa thing. I went in, I did a Sunday night show, I took some calls. He called me at Christmas. It was right around Christmas time. Everybody says you don't get a job in the holidays. This was the one time I actually did.
Yeah.
And he called. He goes, you want the job? Yeah. It's only this. I think it was like $24,000 a year. And I said, you know what, man? Boom. Let me come to Tampa Bay. I figured I would be here maybe a year or two. Here it is, 27 years later, and I'm still here.
You're still here.
Still here.
What keeps you here? Did you ever want to go back west?
Well, you know what? Yeah. But I have a son. He's now 26. Mm-hmm. He's on his own, basically. And I remarried, and we have a daughter that's a freshman in high school. And it's all about my girls, my wife and my daughter.
That's it.
And she's doing very well. And two, I do have a name that's known in Tampa Bay. So I fill in on the big board with the Lightning. I go on. I'll be on tomorrow, WDAE, where I was 5 years full-time, 5 years part-time. So, I do a thing with JoeBucksFan.com. I cover the Bucks. So I have a name, at least, in Tampa Bay. It'd be very
You keep
hard.
busy.
So I keep busy.
Yeah.
My son did online for a year at college. Hopefully he goes back to it. But he's fine with that. I couldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't work out on my own, do push-ups. I got to go to the gym. Because once I get to the gym, there was a wrestler named Big Show. Big guy, WWE, now he's at AEW. He was on Chris Jericho's podcast. I really look up to Chris Jericho. And Jericho had a great line. I agree with this. He asked Big Show, who's been around. He's a monster. He's 7 foot. He's really big man. And they got to stay in shape, man.
Yeah.
The bumps they take. And he goes, Big Show, how do you get motivated to stay in shape and keep working out? And he's like, there are so many days where I wake up, I'm like, I don't want to work out today. So what I do is I force myself to get in my car and I drive to the gym. And when I'm in the parking lot, I'm not going to not go in. And I'm here. So I shuffle into that gym, and once I'm in there, I'm going to work out. I feel the same way. There's a lot of people that can do running. My wife gets out of the front door and runs and comes back. She doesn't want to drive to it anywhere. I got to go, and then once I'm there, I always think of Big Show.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it. I got to go in, and I'll do something. All right. And then when you come out, you
That's
feel a
what
little bit
happened
better.
today.
So there you go. There you
That's
go.
right.
There you go.
What would be your advice to someone just breaking into the business?
Number one, you gotta have the passion to want to do it. You have to. Because if you don't have to, life is ups and downs.
Yeah.
You're gonna get thrown curveballs, you're gonna have bad days, you're gonna have somebody criticize you, this and that. And if you're not all in, you gotta be all in 100%. So that's number one. Find your passion. Narrow it down to that. Now, when you're first starting out, you might not be able to do an opportunity to do exactly what you want. But at least if it's something that maybe is connected to it. Maybe you want to be a host, but now they're going to have you over here and you're going to go out in the field and do a little story. Or maybe it's something else. At least it's not driving a truck. At least
Right.
it's not being a clerk somewhere. No, nothing wrong with those jobs, but I'm saying, okay, and that will help you. That will help you as you move on, learning different aspects of that job. Then number two, you do have to work hard because there's other people that are going for those jobs that you're going for. So you want to outwork them. You want to outwork them. And there's two more. You got to network. You got to really
Absolutely.
try to get to know somebody. And then I was on the official Buccaneers podcast about everything, a video and audio thing before I came here, because the Bucs sideline guy, TJ Reeves, he's been doing it like 25 years. And I can't keep up with everything. I didn't even know they have one that's on the official Bucs website. It's official. And I interviewed him yesterday in the press box. He was coming by and I'm like, I need another guest. You know what, TJ, you got 5 minutes? Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. How'd you get this gig? What's the hardest part of this job? Boom, boom, boom. We're done. He's like this. Okay. 12 o'clock. Here comes the pregame with Gene Deckerhoff. Boom. Oh, we're walking. I grab my mic. Well, I grab my recorder. We're walking. What's your final thing? Thank you. Boom, boom. I'll get the picture to promote later at halftime. Boom. So just by doing that, then I saw him in the locker room, fist bump, boom. They were behind today because it's a short week. They got to play on Thursday night. Everything's sped up. He needed somebody right now. Boom, boom, boom. Text me. Boom. You ready to go? Boom. Yes. Boom. Go in my studio. Set up the lights. It'll take me 5 minutes. Haven't used this in a while. Boom, 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 boom. Here's the Zoom. Boom, boom, boom. Now I'm on. Boom. But it's because I knew TJ.
Yeah.
That's how I got on. Yeah. And the last one, and this is what I've found out because I do ask my guest on the Rock Stops Here podcast, what's the advice you can give? Every single guest that has made it in the entertainment field, sports field, whatever, they all say the same thing. You got to be a good person.
That's
Don't
true.
be a jerk.
Don't complain.
Don't complain.
Yeah.
Don't be a jerk. Don't be a Karen. Don't be any of that.
There's always somebody in there that's waiting to take your job.
Yes, and it's so hard anyway to get it. And then, number one, if you're a jerk, forget about it.
Right.
I've even had one guest.
It's like that in a lot of businesses.
It really is.
Mostly every business.
It is.
Yeah.
You don't have to be friends with everybody or like everybody, because that's not human nature. But just don't be a jerk. And I would say that is number one. You start with that, and at least you've got a chance.
Right.
You know?
Don't be a jerk.
Don't be a jerk.
Don't be a jerk, people.
Don't be a jerk.
I'm so blessed to have you be a guest.
Oh, I'm honored, man. You got a great podcast studio here. Great environment. I loved it, my man.
Will you come back?
I would love to, John.
All right.
Thank you.
Let's keep doing this.
Let's do it.
All right. This is John with TBCN Unplugged. We were here with Rock Riley. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And